What is up? Woo, we are live. What's up, Tri?
Lex, what's happening, buddy? How you doing?
Man, this is cool, man. This is my first time using StreamYard to go YouTube live. So this is pretty cool, man. Thanks for being a part of this.
Yeah, man, me too. First time on this. We might have to steal this from you with the Sandcast one of these
Yeah,
days.
dude. I mean, you got to try it, right? You got to try stuff.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of which, we got to get you on the podcast, by the way.
I'd love to, man. I'd love to. Dude, do a shameless plug for Sandcast, man. You guys are awesome. You and Travis, man. Go ahead. Just shout out to anyone listening about Sandcast.
Yeah. I mean, we got the beach volleyball podcast. Me and Travis Mawerder. Obviously, he's the best journalist, in my opinion, that we have in our sport. And we started a podcast. I know what's going on a lot on the court. He knows the media side of things, and he just knows everything about the sport. And we've been going for 4 or 5 years now. Every Wednesday we drop an episode with anyone and everyone involved with the sport, all the influential people and the players, and whatever's going on with the sport, we're covering it. And yeah, it's been a nice journey for sure.
And straight up, you guys inspired me to start within the game, man. I watched you guys do it. I was like, man, it's so cool just to have conversations like you guys are having and just have, just talk, man. Just talk about all the stuff that we don't have time to talk about when we're practicing or playing or focusing on our craft, man. So I appreciate you guys,
Yeah, and I love how both of our platforms and our podcast kind of complement each other a lot. Because we're bringing in guests and we're tapping on those subjects, but you get real deep into the mental and all the things that go into what we're talking about. Whereas we kind of tap on the journey and where people are at, and every episode's kind of different for us. And you really go deep into all those subjects that we really love. So it's perfect for our guests. Like, depending on what they want for that day, they can go hit yours if they want to learn a little and get real deep, or figure out what's going on with the current events in volleyball and whatnot, and get to know the players or ours.
Yes, man. Yes. And I'll link Sandcast here because we're like not like that. We're like that. So yeah, that's great, man. I really appreciate what you guys are doing. So hey, today I want to talk about champion mindset. And you and Trevor Crabb are just coming off back-to-back AVP Gold Series events, winning the Manhattan Beach Open and the Chicago Open. Bro, congratulations, man. As a player, I'm nowhere near your level, but I just know how hard that is to win. I know how hard it is to win. Actually, I don't know how hard it is to win an AVP, but just winning in general, right? Yeah. Winning is tough. Yeah. And to win twice, it's just awesome, man. It's inspiring. Like, my whole message is stay inspired, right? And I watch you guys play, and you specifically, man, you're on one, bro. You're just on a great track. You got this momentum. So just talk about that for a minute. Talk about what it's like to win, not just Manhattan Open, which is obviously the granddaddy, but twice back to back. That's awesome.
Yeah. Dude, it's literally the dream, these are the things that I've dreamed about my whole career, and it's been a long time coming. I set myself these goals for myself because I believed it was attainable early on in my career when I was playing with Hayden. But we didn't achieve, we won AVPs. We won 2 back-to-back AVPs, me and Hayden back in the day. So we did a lot. We made 2 finals before I got my autoimmune disease in the Manhattan. So I was so close to that pier, and there was a goal for so long, but you never know if you're actually going to pull it off until you do. So getting the opportunity to get back there was so inspiring for me to just channel all my energy into that one moment and just focus on applying everything and knowing that this is a long time coming. This isn't just something that I'm going to do all in one day. Like, all the work I've put in is going to apply itself here, and I just need to get out of my own way.
Right.
And let it apply. But if I hadn't put in all that work and all these years of just dreaming about it and wanting it so bad, I wouldn't have been quite as prepared. And I see this over here. I'm going to bring this up for you guys.
Okay.
Cool. I couldn't resist. I've been looking at this thing for a week now. It's just
let's go. Let's
this
go.
thing is 10 pounds at least. It's
Bro.
so heavy. The actual one this is a replica of the one they're putting on the pier, or that's on the pier.
Dude, it makes me so happy to see you with that. Do you remember when I said that? Like, when I said you got to get back up, I kind of said it by accident. And I was like, hey man, you got to get back up there. And then I was like, oh man, because you hadn't won yet. But
like,
it was funny that I said that.
Yeah, and you were in
like,
showbacks, right? When we got carried in there.
It was. Do you remember that? Because I kind of beat myself up for that because I'm like, that's not cool to do. You know, you got to wait. You know, but it was funny because I remembered you and I was like, dude, you belong up there. You know, and like I just ever since I trained with you in Hayden, I was watching you going through that autoimmune disease, going through those challenges, man, and just watching you the way you did that with this extreme focus, man. And I was like, that's champion stuff right there. I could sense it, you know. And so I want to talk a little bit about that, this whole idea of champion mindset. That's the theme of this this topic. What is it? You know, what is it and how do you develop it?
Well, I think it's earned, first of all. You know, a lot of people can come out onto the beach or into their sport or their craft, whatever it is, and just be like, I want to be a champion. I want to win for our sport, you know, the ultimate is Olympic gold medal, or domestically it's Manhattan Beach or AVP Team of the Year or something like that. But I feel like you really have to earn the right to say that. And it doesn't mean that can't be your dream, but to really know that you're in the conversation, you have to earn that. So it was really a matter of work, straight up, just grinding every day. I go to work. This is my job. No matter if you're getting paid, because we don't get paid for hourly or for going to work, you know, for making the drive up to McKell or getting down to practice when you're not feeling great, or going to treatment when you do feel good. You're like, nope, still going to go. All those things over the years, you know, the readings, the psychology stuff, and learning, just going to work every day for year after year after year. That to me is a champion's mindset. You're doing it because, like, okay, for me, I think the real inspiration came from years ago when I was playing in Puerto Rico. I was like, what am I doing? What do I want out of all this? Like, I'm trying to be a professional volleyball player, but I thought to myself, I was like, you know what? My dream, like really Tri Bourne's dream, is to be a professional athlete, like a world-class professional athlete. Like, that's the coolest thing in the world to me. And it didn't matter if it was volleyball or whatever. I just love sports. My parents are athletes, but everyone's, you know, amateur. No one got paid in my family to play sports. It was all for the love of it, their entire lives. Everyone's just sports. But for me, I was like, if I could make a career out of it, like, I don't want a job. Like, if I could do it like these other athletes, that would be the coolest thing. And then I realized, I was like, you know what? I don't need someone to pay me millions to experience that. I can live my life like an elite world-class professional athlete. Whether I get paid a lot or not doesn't really have anything to do with it. So at that point, I was like, I'm just going to do that. I'm going to act like a world-class professional athlete, and let's see where that makes me end up. And from there, it was just like, I just saw myself leveling up, and like attracting people who had that similar mindset. And so when I stepped on the sand with Hayden that one day, when he allowed me to come out to practice, that's what he just sensed that. It was like, this is good energy. This is the kind of energy I want to be around, is this kid Tri, because he gets it. He wants it.
Right.
And I was obviously super raw, but I think that's what he saw most. So he invited me back for another day, and he saw me consistently come in with that energy and that drive. And so we just both wanted to be around each other. And for me, it was a dream come true. It was like, if you want to learn how to be an elite world-class professional athlete in volleyball, like, there's literally no one else better in the world for me to partner with at that time. And that's how it just all grew from there. I just said, I'm going to be elite. I'm going to be the person that I want to be. And then let's see if that makes me into the person I want to be. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely, man. That's awesome. I mean, what you're saying is, first of all, surround yourself with other champions, right? I mean, John Hayden, shout out to John. That's my boy right there.
Yep.
You know, and that energy, right? The energy of just, you feed off of it, right? And I want this conversation to be relatable to anybody in any craft, right? Like, if you want to be a champion in business, right, you got to surround yourself with champions and other champions in business, or writing. You know, I just went through a writing process, man. I had to get a writing coach, you know, and I wanted to really apply this whole idea of champion mindset, even though I've never done that before. I've never been a writer. You know, I've talked to Travis, you know, I've talked to all these other people who, you know, have done it and who have succeeded at it. But you said something I'd like to touch on a little bit more. You said you had a dream.
Mm-hmm.
about being a professional athlete. And I really think champions follow their dreams, right? Because I think all of us have dreams, but it's one thing to have a dream, it's another thing to follow those dreams, right? Because we get
Yeah.
caught up in society, we get caught up in other people's opinions, we get caught up in whatever it may be. But to
Yeah.
follow your dream, that's huge. Can you expand on that a little?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for me, it wasn't like I was a young. I came from Hawaii, just like we don't have professional sports. These are just the people that I looked up to. My dad watched football all the time growing up, so I became a football fan. Basketball, because I played basketball and I started watching it a bit. Collecting sports cards, being around my parents who were endurance athletes. My sisters, my sister, one of my sisters was all state soccer, like as a sophomore in high school, and like one of the best players in the state. So she was really the one that was like going for it in the family, and I was just goofing around, just like I'll play whatever, I'll canoe paddling, all that kind of stuff. You see the canoe up here,
Yeah.
that's like a big part of it to me. It was just any activity. That's what I loved. But it was really just like me getting older and being like, who have I always looked up to? What's always given me the energy? And that's when I realized that that was my dream. I didn't even know that I was capable of what I'm doing right now. It was really just like a realization of what has driven me to this point and what's going to give me energy going forward. And I wasn't scared to chase it either. I wasn't chasing any monetary value, really.
Yeah.
It was really just the experience that I was chasing, and experiencing something that I cherish so much is where the value's at.
I love it, bro. I want to talk about winning, the difference between winning mindset and champion mindset, because I do feel like they're different, right? And especially in a tournament, right? You could win all the matches up until the final, but then you could lose the final and not be called a champion, right? Or not feel like a champion. So what's the difference between winning mindset and champion mindset?
For me, it's been winning. Like, let's say champion's been just the long-term grind of, doing the things that put you in the conversation to be a champion. But winning for me has been, number one, doing the things when you get to that moment, do the things that got you to that moment. When I was in college, actually, Pete Carroll came in before we went to the Final Four because he was coaching football at SC, and our coach brought Pete Carroll in to talk to us real quick, and he told us what we do in national, and this is them coming off national championships, with Weinert and them. He said, what we do in championship games is we don't try to play our best game ever. We don't try to one up anything that we're doing. We just go out there and do what got us there. And that's the biggest mistake that a lot of people make, is they try to play their best game. They try to play out of their bag of tricks. They're just
Right.
like, oh, now I want to bounce a ball. Now I want to do this and that. And that's where mistakes come in. So number one, doing the things that got you there, and then experience. You got to grind. You got to get there, and you might have to fail. You might have to go out there and fail like I did. For me, that's what it was. I made so many finals before I won one. I've made 2 Manhattan finals and then sat on it for 5 years, knowing that I was literally this far away from blocking Casey Patterson and getting on the pier. And I don't know if I'm ever going to be on the pier for my whole life, for like 5 years, like just sitting in my stomach for that long.
Right.
And, but then when I got there the next time, I had that weapon of knowing I'd been there before. And guess what? When I got my name on the pier for the first time, guess what happened? Casey Patterson swinging low angle. I've been thinking about this low angle for 5 years now. You might beat me here, but not on that one. Not on that one. So I blocked him in low angle on the literally north side. He's on the right, swinging low angle. He's out of the middle this time. Obviously, I have it all pictured in my head, but yeah. So getting to those places and failing, a lot of times is the key to getting there again and succeeding.
Yeah. Shout out Casey Patterson. Hey, he's actually balling right now. Like he, for his age, I mean, and Phil, like to be in your 40s and ball like that. Shout out.
Damn, first of all, we got to get Phil out of here. Somebody somebody pay him a Porsche to like not play anymore. But
Oh.
no, Casey Patterson's amazing. He's been so amazing for the sport.
Yeah.
Such a good player, and yeah, he's definitely not moving the way he used to, but like still balling out. It's
Yeah.
great.
Oh, for sure.
He's
For
just a
sure.
lifer volleyball player.
Yeah. No, I know. Great mentality. Let's move into staying ready versus getting ready. I know Taylor Crabb actually talks about this a lot. It's kind
Yeah,
of his mantra almost, it seems like. But yeah, this is a big one, right? Because here's how I want to talk about it. From my standpoint, champions stay ready, right? And whatever. Now this was for me for a long time. I used to like look at the calendar and be like, all right, cool. I got all right, this is coming up, this event's coming up, and not that that's a bad thing. That's
yeah,
still part of the whole process, right?
right,
You got to like prep for these events.
right.
But staying ready regardless of what's on the calendar, I think is a champion mindset. It's part of champion mindset.
Yeah,
I'd love for you to touch on that and talk about your trainer too, because I know he's a secret weapon.
yeah, for sure. I mean, the first person I think about when you say that staying ready versus getting ready is John Hyden. We played in, I'm young, so I want to play in the tournament and then I want to relax and go. I wanted to go have fun and go
Right.
out that night or whatever. I'm in my 20s, and literally we're in Brazil. Season ends. I'm just like, oh my god, that was a grind. Season's over, thank God. Hyden's in the gym the next morning. I'm like, you don't play for 4 months. You can't just like cruise, like relax. And at the time, I was just like, yeah, no, I'm good on that. I'm not gonna touch a weight, anything for like 2-3 weeks right now, whatever. Um, but then I like started to pay attention. I was like, wait, why is he doing that? And
Right.
at his age, he realized, or the older you get, the more steps you take back by resting. So he just said to himself, like, I'm just never gonna rest.
Right.
Doesn't mean you have to push yourself like and be grinding and in this stressed out state all the time, but he's just gonna keep his body at a certain level. And that goes for the same for your mind and all that. So you're not riding this giant roller coaster where it's really hard to come down off these highs and then get up out of these lows. You're just right there, right in the middle, kind of just staying ready at all times. And doesn't mean that you have to be tournament ready, like you said. Like
Mhm.
there is an art that I'm learning right now. April Ross actually is a good example of, she knows she's working all year long, off season, everything has intention, but sometimes there's intention in relaxing and taking a break and letting your mind rest while also keeping your body in the right state and not going too far down to where you have to work really hard to get back. But she's good at kind of periodization and peaking for certain events.
Yeah.
And I never believed in that before, but I'm realizing that like we did here in these AVPs, we actually really peaked our training to be ready at these moments when we really wanted to win. But you have to get yourself ready to go through that peak, and if you're in below, now your peak is just kind of at the wrong place. So it's different for everybody, but I think it's super important to understand that you don't, like, everything you do has a reaction, so if you want to do all that fun stuff and relax or take too much time off, then you're going to have to work your way out of that hole. And with Taylor Crabb, he actually has his own he loves volleyball, right? So his mentality is, I'm just going to play all year. I'm always going to be playing at all times, whether it's 4-man,
Yeah.
ace,
Yeah.
2-man, 1-man. He's
Right.
out there playing at all times because he just loves the game, and he's like, I'm just going to always have these touches. So even if I'm not training or something comes up, I'm ready.
Right.
And for him, that works great. For me, it's a little more gym mind intention behind like my routines and whatnot, because I don't like playing when I'm not playing professionally, to be honest.
Right.
If
Right.
for me, I'll be out surfing or something, if I'm not playing professionally. For him, he's like, I'm just going to play, and I have to kind of do it in my own way. So I would say everyone has to do it in their own way.
I love it, man. And like, let's take that a step further in terms of like not just sports, right? Let's talk about podcasting actually, because you're a podcaster,
Yeah.
right? I mean, like you got to stay ready in that too, right?
Mm.
It's not just about peak physical condition. As a podcaster, if I take time, like I took like a month off, and I kind of was like, whoa, I had to like get back into it, and just in terms of just any craft, any discipline, anything that you want to be a champion at, you got to stay ready at,
For sure. What's comes to mind too is just mindfulness. Like, you've done mindfulness?
Yeah.
Well, how about when you take a break from it, right? You go like, let's go say a month straight where every day, like I actually literally did 2 hours a day for about a month at one point. And I was like so mindful every second throughout the day. It felt like I was just like realizing where my head was at, just like way more aware of things going on around me and internally. And, but then I take a break from it and you lose it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then you can go full days where you don't even check in with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that just kind of shows you it's the same thing mentally and physically. If you don't use it, it starts to deteriorate a little bit. So yeah, like you said, you took a little break. You probably needed it. Like sometimes we definitely need it. You need a break too, and fresh perspective. But yeah, everything you're doing, you're either getting better or worse.
Yeah, right.
You have to realize where you're at that particular time.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you that question too, and it's a good talking point too, the staying ready versus getting ready. Because I actually heard Stephen A. Smith talk about it. He was, there's a lot of Lakers talk right now, and he was talking about AD and injuries, and and how like guys like LeBron and Kobe always stayed ready.
Yeah.
Right. It's a lifestyle. It's not so much, okay, the calendar's coming up, season's coming up. Yes. Well, like you said, that's part of it. But the point that I'd like to make that I got from Stephen A is that it's a lifestyle. Like, regardless of what's coming up on the calendar, I'm going to be in that gym because this is what I do.
Yeah.
Right. I stay ready all the time. It's part of my lifestyle. It's part of who I am.
Yes. Exactly. And I've learned that a lot with, as I've gotten older and matured, even this week, we've been grinding. We tried to peak for these two events. Our goal was Manhattan and Chicago. We pulled it off. Obviously, Phoenix is a huge priority. We want to go out there and win it. But we gave ourselves a week off from the sand here so we can physically and mentally check out for a second.
Yeah.
So that we're ready for that next push. But nowadays, a week off to me isn't the same thing. Like, I literally just ran up from the gym right now in my garage. I didn't drive to my trainer. I gave myself a break from the drive. But he sent me the workout. I still got it in because I was like, I don't want to. There's no part of me that wants to not get my knee rehab done, stretch the body out. Like, why would I want to go into training next week having sat around on a couch for
right,
tighten my body up for a week? Although, yeah, maybe it would have been nice to just be lazy and whatnot, but it's just not worth it. And for me, it's so much easier to just, this is just my lifestyle. It's not like in season, out of season. I'm eating healthy. I'm in the gym, doing what needs to be done. Obviously, there's different strategies in terms of what I'm doing, but I made this a lifestyle so that I could consistently do it. And I don't want to ride those highs and lows of the roller coaster anymore because it's too hard to come down from the highs and come up from the lows, even with the wins. I used to think it was like this week long celebration that needed to happen. Now I'm just, this is amazing. I'm going to be in the moment for it, but I don't need this moment out of the club that night with champagne. Everyone's loving me and doing all this crazy stuff. Like, sometimes it comes, you have your showback moments, but it's really just, all right, back to work. Sweet. I'm stoked. I have this win for the rest of my life. I have this plaque right here for the rest of my life. I'll put it up on the wall or in the cabinet and let's move on.
Yeah, man. That's champion mindset. Talk about getting help. And by that, I mean a trainer, a coach, maybe a nutritionist, and just on the trainer for a second. And I want you to talk about him, Mikkel. But for me, right, like a trainer is huge. It's like for me I'm about to actually, after we get off this, I'm going to see my trainer, and to have someone believe in you, right? Like, that's huge. Because self-belief is number one. You gotta look at yourself in the mirror and be like, let's go, right?
Yes.
But to have someone else be like, all right, how we feeling today? What's going on? How's the body? You know, to have someone check in with you like that, and then to keep you accountable, right?
Yeah.
Like that's huge. And I know everyone, you know, can't afford a trainer,
Right.
but I'd like you to talk about the value of having a trainer and what it's done for your champion mindset.
Yeah. So it all kind of comes down to what I was saying in the beginning. Like, what's my purpose? What's my dream here? To be an elite, world class professional athlete.
Right.
What does that entail? Well, it entails a lot of things that I couldn't afford in the beginning, but I knew that I wanted them. And now you look at me 10 years later, however many years later, and I got the trainer, I got my agent, I got my nutritionist, I got the sports psychologist with the team that's bought in and full time. I got my full time coach, who we know we do weekly film sessions. You know, it took me years to put together this whole thing of being elite and all the things that kind of come along with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's huge. And then, so also the big thing I think people don't realize is if I don't have a coach when I go to the sand, how much mental prep does that take to put together a professional athlete's practice plan based on not just what I want, but what my partner needs and what we need as a team based off of the film that we've watched? Like, that's so much time and energy that I'm not putting into just, you know, my body, my mind, my preparation, my skills. That's energy lost, really. So now I hire a coach and he takes care of that. Okay, now I can focus on my main thing.
Yeah, Trey.
Oh, 1 second. Sorry, someone's coming in.
No worries, no worries.
And then same thing with the trainer. I'm not an expert on the human body, training the human body. I'm an expert on volleyball. So
right.
I need someone who's an expert in that, and then I go out and I trust them. Give them the keys to the car. That's what we say. Mikkel loves cars too, right? In terms of the things you put in the body, the way you treat it, you're not going to put Coca-Cola in your car, right? But we'll put Coca-Cola in our bodies because we can taste it going in. But you only put the best stuff in your car because you want it to run the best way. And you don't go and fix your car by yourself, right? You take it to a professional. And so for me, I'm like, I'm going to have a professional guy that I trust in charge of it, give him the keys, and then I just do whatever he says. More mental power that I can focus on my main thing and that he can take off of my plate. And that goes for the sports psych, the coach, the nutritionist that we have through USA Volleyball, our ATC who gives me training work and all that stuff.
The team, man. You got the team. I love it, man. I love it. Just a couple more things, Tri. I'll let you go, man. Phoenix. Talk about Phoenix, man.
Phoenix, it seems like a huge opportunity. We don't really know what to expect at the moment, but we are super excited. We get to play in the Suns Arena. It's my first time playing in like an indoor.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've never been in an indoor event. Playing in an NBA, the Suns Arena, and they're kind of blocking off a section for us. And there's some money to be had. It's the last event of the year. Besides that AVP event in December or whatever it is, it's kind of the last of the season as far as
yeah.
And I mean, we want nothing more than
is it 6 teams? It's 4 teams plus 2 wild cards, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know what to expect, but I'm really excited that they added it in. I think there should be like some finale type of events like this.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've proven a lot already this year, and I think the mental challenge here is to go out there and be able to be fully present and forgetting about the things that happened in the past and where we're at and that we're expected to win or we should be in the finals or anything other than that first set against that first team. That's going to be the challenge, is kind of suppressing that ego and all that stuff. That
suppressing the ego.
Yeah.
That's part of champion mindset, right? You got to be confident.
Embracing it and learning how to move on from it. Mm-hmm. But I think the biggest challenge with Phoenix, because we do have time to prepare, it will be us psychologically being in the right mindset to repeat where we've been for Manhattan and Chicago.
Sure. Yeah. Quickly before you run, man, just talk about the future of the AVP. How's it feel? You know, for me, looking at it, it looks like it's on fire. I'd love to hear your thoughts on where it's at and where it's going and where it could be.
Yeah, it's I don't know, to be honest. It felt so amazing this year to have 7 events we're
Right.
playing. So in front of U.S. fans, like this is the dream. This is what I love about. It's my favorite part about volleyball. The Olympic grind, the World Tour is a whole different thing. But this year, and after everything we've been through for so many years now, I just wanted to play a full season of AVP volleyball and just battle it out, and for sponsors and fans and our own home base, and the podcast fans and the YouTube fans, and I just felt like this is our home, and we needed to put on a show and try to grow this sport domestically, and it's been amazing. And obviously we all want money need to be bigger, the stands need to be bigger and all that stuff, but I'm just grateful for what we do have, and then I want to take it upon myself, and I want players to take it upon themselves to grow this sport and get it to what it needs to be, and not really continue to be those athletes who are like, oh, the tour should do this, and why?
Yeah.
It could always be better,
Right.
But I think we can definitely just straight up say that we're stoked to play AVP all season. We've only played 3 for the last 4 years, something like that. So it's just been fun. Really fun.
No, it looks like it's cool, and it looks like Bally's is starting to ramp up, maybe some gamifying stuff, and
that'll be fun if they can get that going. The betting and stuff is what we're all really excited about, but we don't know if it's actually going to happen until it does.
Yeah. All right, cool. Hey, before you run, just do a plug for any sponsors, any websites, more Sandcast stuff, anything.
Yeah, I mean, Sandcast is my baby. Me and Travis, we just love doing it. So we appreciate everyone supporting us, and we're upping our value in everything. Audio, video. We're trying to come out with new videos, and we got a lot coming in the future. So stay tuned with that. And shout out to my sponsors, right there. Monster's been just the coolest sponsor on earth to be a part of, along with Kona Brewing. Come on, I'm from Hawaii. Wilson Volleyball, literally my favorite volleyball since I was a kid. And then Legends Apparel, where anything they give me, I just wear it and I feel great and amazing. And so I have a really amazing team right now. Shout out to my whole team as well. It's been a great ride being with this team, and I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Trevor Crabb too, part of the team.
Yeah, he's all right.
He's all right. Hey, I appreciate you, Tri. Much love. This was cool, man. First time doing YouTube live, so we'll do it again.
Appreciate you, Aaron.
All right, appreciate you, bro. Talk soon.
Take it easy.
All right, that was my first YouTube live on the channel. Thanks for anyone being a part of it. If you checked it out, that's great. Appreciate you. Please give me a like, a subscribe, a comment, anything like that, a share if you feel that, and I'll do this again. This is fun. Just trying to learn how to do the YouTube live stuff. So again, that was Tri Bourne, AVP champion. He just won his back-to-back championship at AVP Chicago. And he's going to do great at Phoenix. I can feel it. All right, everybody, much love. Stay inspired. Peace and blessings.